Hi everyone, this is Dee with the Paper Drawer. I've never done a little, I guess you call it tutorial, but I thought I would share with you on my thought process on how I collage. And I showed you this in the last video, a finished book that I had done, and it had the envelopes that flip for the cover and alternate. So I'm making, I think about 3 of them to put in my Etsy shop, but it's been a lot of fun to do. But I thought I would just hopefully quickly share with you my process and my thought process on these. Everyone collages differently, and I like that because, you know, nothing's ever the same. But I wanted to just go through a couple of envelopes, and I'll go through a couple of the ones that are finished, and tell you my thought process on those and how I collage. So let me put these up. I kind of did these ahead of time so I don't take too much time up, but this is the one of them that we're going to work on real quick here. A lot of the envelopes are just oddball envelopes that I have. Some of it's junk mail, some of it's bank envelopes. So it's just a variety that I use, and I use them up, so that's a good thing. Usually these envelopes are letter envelopes I get at the Dollar Tree. Anyways. So here is this one, and the way that I start is I put a background down. I didn't start this way before when I started collaging. I would just start cutting little bits and pieces, but the problem I had with that is it gets really, really bulky. So I quit doing that. So my process is I lay just pieces down, big pieces, and then I collage over it. Some of them are heavily collaged, some of them are not. So this is my first one, and I do combine Tim Holtz paper with just the one-sided paper. I think Tim Holtz sometimes will get a little bit too heavy and too thick. I did do one. I didn't care for it. Let me run and get it real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. I don't know, some of you may like this one, but I really felt that it was too much. It needed to have, I don't know, something else. It's pretty stiff. And this is the back side of it. So basically, this would be a left-handed, excuse me, flip. Again, it's not bad. I just think it's a bit much. For when you talk about, you know, little pieces and things, it to me has a little bit too confusion, a little bit too much eye movement to it. So I tried it and I don't really care for it, but that's my personal opinion. And as you can see, I love to mix everything, what's pleasing to my eye, and then I just lay it down. Okay, so that's the Tim Holtz one that I tried, and I thought I'd do a whole Tim Holtz series, but I didn't really care for that. So let's go ahead and do this one. So I laid down my foundation pieces, the back, and then what I do is I just start looking through my box of all these little pieces and things, and I have larger pieces. So I just start rummaging through this, and I save every little piece because sometimes you need just a little piece, a little corner. It could just be irregular. So this is what I work from. So I kind of did this in advance so I don't take too much time, and I'll just kind of go over this. So I have this piece, and I thought about putting it here. Okay. And I love this abandoned paper that Tim Holtz has. So doesn't really look good on top like that. So it's nice to just be able to kind of alternate it, because something else may sit on top, but this one just doesn't, to me, doesn't work that way. So I would put this one here. So line this one up, come over a little. And if you have a little piece of white showing, you can always put a tiny bit of scrap there. So this just needs to be adjusted just right so that it covers the white. So there you go right there. Okay. So that's that piece. Because this is so busy, I may not cover it. I may just leave a majority of it. But I do want to break it up a little. Okay. So I have this piece. And it was just a scrap again. And I'm going to lay that one right here. It kind of blocks this whole ticket underneath here. But I align it with this line here. So it kind of looks like it's supposed to be there. Okay. And then what I'll do with this piece. Okay. I'll go ahead, because I have a white space. Oops, excuse me. A white space down here. I'll go ahead and put it right here. And that will probably be it. Don't want to get these envelopes too thick, because I want to put ephemera, journaling cards, and things inside it. So to me, this looks done. Usually I would heavily collage it, but I think this is fine. So let me see if I can do this on camera. So what I would do is I use this Scotch Create glue stick. It's really sticky. I'm not fond of glue sticks for that very reason, is you run the risk of it coming off, but this is really sticky, so I really lay it on. So this one I'll put right here. And I'll quickly get this piece, because I can lift it up, and I'll make sure that everything's covered, and it is. That corner was white. If you have a tiny bit of white, like right here, you can just get your distress ink. And this is what I'll do when I finish everything. I'll go around and I'll ink all the edges. So that's this one. So this is fine here. So then I'll put this corner piece in. Oops, sorry, I shook the camera. And I'll take this piece and, oops, and I'll just lay it right in here on the corner. Sometimes when you start tearing up pieces, it can get a bit choppy. And then for me, it's confusing to the eye, I think. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes you want that. And you'll see when I show you some of the ones that I've done in a little more detail that they are like that. But I'm okay with that. So this one was going to go right here. So you can combine torn edges and straight edges. I like that. Everything torn sometimes is too much. Okay. So then we'll go down here and we'll put this piece in. And I've already inked the edges just to save some time. So that one will go here. Okay. Then what I do is I'll get my scissors, because sometimes they'll overlap. Sometimes I can get it just right, but it doesn't matter. You can just go back and I just clip the edges to make it even. Then the other thing that I do is, if you feel these collages, okay, you can feel the ridge, okay? Some of you may like that. I like to make them flat. So what I do is, because this is a quilt, let me just take this paper off. You can do it with a credit card. You can do it with a lot of different things. But for me, the cap of the glue works best because it's smooth. You're not going to snag it, and you're not going to really scrub it, so to speak. So what I do is I just go over it, and I just go right over the edge. And when I do that, it just smooths it out. I like that. Like I said, some of you may just like it, raised up, but I like it that it looks like all one piece. So I'll do that on all the pieces that I lay down. And again, it just smooths it. It makes it look like it should be there rather than it's just laying on top. So that's all I do is I just use this and I just smooth it down with it. Okay, and then what I'll do is there's a little bit of white showing on the bottom. When I'm all done, I'll go through all of these and I'll just ink it and it's hidden. If it's too much white, I'll find a little strip like this and I'll just lay it down on the bottom to kind of frame it. This is upside down, but something like that, just to kind of clean it off. Okay, that even looks good. So again, I'll look over these again, but I wanted to just give you an idea of this one, of how I do it. Okay, here's the back side. The back of the envelope, you have to remember not to glue, the whole thing, the whole back down. So I take Fabri-Tac and I just go along the outside like this, and then I just do a basic little perimeter so I know where to stop my glue. And it doesn't have to be glued to the very edge because you're going to put something on top of it. So that's how I do this one. And this is going to be a right-handed flip, okay, on the book. So here's this one. And again, I've already cut the pieces. And this is way too blue for me, okay? But it's okay because you're going to cover it up. So I just started cutting pieces, just going through things. Some things may match, some things may not. So I'll probably put this one here. Shows a little bit of the blue. Then I'll probably bring maybe this one here. And got a few other pieces. This bottom needs to have some kind of a finished thing on it. So because it's cut this way, I'll just go ahead and lay it right on top. Okay, so that finishes off that corner. Okay, and then I've got two pieces here. I got that corner that's white here at the top. So I'll go ahead and just fill it in with this. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then I'll just take this piece because I think this is too much. I don't want to, it needs to be broken up. So then I'll take this piece, and this is Tim Holtz wallpaper. And it doesn't have to be straight. You can angle it any way you want. And I'll just stick it on here. So that's going to be this collage. Okay, so let me glue it and you can see. I'm going to take this off and move my glue book. And I just put a lot of this Scotch Create glue on it. Oops, not in frame, sorry. And what I'll do is I'll just start at the bottom and line it up, and then go right up to the top. There. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get a napkin or a Kleenex, and I'll just make sure it's down all the way. If you see any lifting after you're done and you look over everything, of course you can get a little bit of glitter glue and just put it down in there. I don't like to use glitter glue because it's wet, a wet glue, and of course you all know that it'll ripple, and I don't really care for that, so I like to use the Scotch Create. So we'll put this one about here. This one really doesn't matter where it goes because this top piece is big enough to hide. It all depends if you want to see some of the writing, so I kind of just play with it a little bit and then find a good position for it, and I'll just kind of dry fit this to see what it's going to cover, and I go with it. Again, doesn't have to be exact. You just want to make sure that you cover the envelope. So I'll just use this. I'm sorry if I'm not in frame. There. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just set it down, line it up on the edge. Get my little napkin. Okay. And I'll get this piece. And I'll, let's see, let me take this out. And I just glue this piece down. Again, I just make sure it's really covered because, again, I'm not a fan of glue stick, but this Scotch Create seems to do really well, so. And then I'll just lay this one down right here. And one thing, too, is, you know, you can still slide the piece around a little bit till you get it where you want it. Okay, so that's that piece. Now we have this thing at the top. And this is going to go right here. And then I have this little flower I'm just going to put on here. So this is just going to go right here. And I'm not going to make it straight. I do want to show some of the blue too, because this is blue even though it's not the same blue. So that's that. Okay, so this one's done. Okay, so then what I'll do is take that off, I'll bring this in, and then I'll close up my glue, and then I'll go over it, and I'll make sure every edge is down, flat, and smooth. So and if you don't like too much blue showing or too much background or too much of this, you can always add a piece. But I kind of like that. So I'm just going to leave it. So that's that. The other thing I try and do is I call it touch points. I try and put the background pieces so they touch. And the reason why I do that is for my eye. If you don't, I feel, then your eye jumps around. You've got too many little pieces and tidbits everywhere. And you may like that. But for me, I don't find that pleasing because my eye is jumping around, trying to look at all the pieces. And it still will. My eyes still will move around, but I don't like the little pieces. I find that, to me, a little distracting. But again, it's interesting to look at. And I'll show you a few, and you'll see that your eye does jump. But that's basically, I had another one to do, but I won't do it. This video is getting kind of long. So let me just show you the foundation, and I'll do it off camera after I'm done. But this was my foundation papers. Okay. This area is really big. Okay, and I left some white spots. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is, look real quick at this. What I'm going to do with this one, that one. Let's see, which one was it? Yeah. So what I'm going to do with this one, for example, to break this up is example. Put this one here. Okay. There's some small pieces, but it's okay. And I think it's going to be cohesive enough. And again, I wanted to try and do something a little bit different. So I'll lay this one here. And then I have a cigar band. They'll go on top to clean that off. Okay. And I'll have, let's see, this one probably this way. Okay. Actually, I think it, oops, sorry. I'll move it over a little bit. Then I'll have this last piece. Let's see, which way does it go? Goes this, oops, no, goes this way. I'll tuck this one right here. I have to cut off that edge. Okay. This one is a windowed envelope. It's really small. So I may leave it, or I may put a little piece of acetate on it. If I do acetate, I'm going to have to really make sure I tape it down, because the journal card, I don't want it to get snagged and hung up on it. So that's how I would do this piece. Again, it's basically covering up a lot of this background paper because it was too much. Okay. It's busy. This is the Tim Holtz cigar band paper, but if you look at this and then look at it when it's off, it needs something. Same with down here. It needs something because it's white, of course. So that's that. On the back, I use this Tim Holtz paper, and it's a lot. It's too much, so it definitely needs to be broken up. So on this one, I'll just show you roughly. I want to show some of the blue. As you can see, there's envelope showing, so that's going to have to be covered up. It was just a scrap piece, so I didn't care that it was short because I'm going to cover it up. And I think I'll put this one here. That top is short also, so I'll have to put some kind of a little band up here. And that's fine, but it's starting to get covered up. I'm going to put this piece not over it, but I'm going to go under. I'm going to have a touch point. The touch point's going to be right here, so it looks like, you know, it's together. And then this is another piece. Again, to me, there's too much blue down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this piece down. And I'm going to, because it's just straight edge, I'm just going to butt it up right to the edge of this one. Okay. Then I have a piece here, because it's white here, I cut this little piece. So I'm just going to stick this down in here. And then I'm going to call this done. I may do something right here, but basically that's kind of how I plan it out. Okay, so that's that one. Video's getting long, so I apologize for that. But let me just show you a couple things that I've done. I'll try and keep these in order too. These are going to go on the inside of that file folder. So let me try and raise the camera just a little bit. So here's this one. See if I can get a little higher. Yeah. So here's this one that I did. Okay. It's got a little more collaging, and I do a little bit more when there's a window. Okay. Here's the back side. And again, for me, there's no rhyme or reason. To me, it's what my eye sees, and it looks pleasing, and it's hopefully not too busy. This is pretty busy, but this is the front. This will be a right-handed envelope flip. But I love this scrapbook paper, so I didn't want to cover it up. But it needed little bits of something, I think, to break it. So this is a piece I added, and I added just a piece up there. It's too pretty to cover up, okay? Here's the back side. Back side's a little busier, but I'm okay with it. Okay, so that's that one. Also, too, when you do these, you don't have to cover every single area. You all have seen the seed packet from Target. Well, this is a die cut flower that I did at Tim Holtz. And what I did was I colored it. I put the ink on the glass mat, and then I added water, and then I just colored it. And then I took his, oh, what's that called? I got it right here. Okay. Oh, glossy accents. I got his glossy accents. And then one thing nice about glossy accent is it pretty much stays where you put it. It's pretty thick. Takes a little while to dry, but I put glossy accents over this. And I'm going to leave this envelope just as is. Can't remember if I did anything to the back. Oh, I did not. I just put a little small piece of wallpaper on it, his wallpaper. But that's all I'm doing to it, because I like the window. I'll put a journaling card in there. I think that'll, be attractive enough to let it be. So this will be a flip here. And this is the back side of it. Okay. And then here's the next one. It'll go this way. And then when you flip it, you'll have this. Okay. And then this is the back envelope, the tallest one. And again, it's a junk mail envelope with a window. And then when you flip it over, it has this on the back. Well, it's almost 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and quit. I'm sorry it's so long. I hope I didn't bore you. But I wanted to just share these with you. And when I finish a couple of the file folders, I'll go ahead and do a quick flip through on those, okay? I appreciate you watching. Thanks.